Can you hear me okay? I'm going to ask you a question that I've asked the kids all week. It's good to know you have the victory, but how do you know you have the victory? Where do you get there? Come here, Maddox, tell me. Maddox has been on it all week. And it's very important to know not only that we have the victory, but how do we have it? How do we know?
It's Maddox? In the Bible.
That's right. God's Word, thank you, Maddox. God's Word tells us we have the victory. And that's why each lesson that Miss Lindsay shared with you about that we had this week, we specifically focused on a verse in the Bible because the Word is the defense against the enemy. Okay? As we were going through, we learned that David didn't have to be afraid because God was with him. Can I have my memory verses? If they're up there, if not, well. Okay? We learned that we don't have to be afraid. So if the enemy comes against us, like we have a giant like Goliath, we can know that the giant will fall because God is with us and we do not have to be afraid. We learned through Daniel that he did not get harmed because he trusted in the Lord. And we can take that promise and apply it to our lives. When it came to Joshua was a big verse for all of us to learn. Okay? Joshua was a big verse. We learned that we can be strong, we can be courageous. Because wherever we go, the Lord is with us. Which I thought was really cool. Because in the middle of that verse, it says the same thing that Isaiah said. If you look at in the middle of Joshua, it says, do not be frightened. The Lord your God is with you. God's word does not change. And as we teach our children His word and the weapon it can be when they're frightened, when stuff comes against them, that's how we empower them, and directing them to God's word is how we show them that they have the victory. Now, throughout this week, we have been talking about different stories. Yesterday, we talked about the ultimate victory through Christ. So today, I'm going to take you back to there. We're going to pump it up with a little bit more muscle today. And I'm going to need some helpers to help me tell part of that story. Okay, I need two people. A boy and a girl first. Harmony. And I need a boy. King, if you guys could stand right here. Come on up here. Okay, we know that the ultimate victory is Christ. But where did that battle begin? The battle began in the Garden of Eden. When a situation happened where disobedience occurred, God had made a perfect holy place for Adam and Eve to live in. But Adam and Eve were in a spot where they got tricked. Now, it wasn't hopeless. God gave them hope. God gave them an option out. They couldn't be in the holy place of the garden anymore because they had disobeyed God and ate of the tree that gave them knowledge of good and evil. In the garden, evil can't be present. Where holiness is, that evil can't be present. So He asked them to leave. All right, go stand over here for me. Harmony, go stand over there with the King. Now, in that victory, in that situation, He started the beginning of what would be our victory. A promise. And that's what we're talking to the kids about, is that God's word is the promise of victory, so that the battle is already won because the promise has been given, because God's word doesn't come back void. Dude, we're not doing Daniel. You can't be a spy. He was a spy in Daniel earlier this week because, you know, he's sneaky. All right, go sneaky that way. Go sneaky that way. There you go. He made the cutest spy. Now, when God took them out of the garden, He didn't leave them alone. He didn't leave them without defense. He sacrificed an animal and gave them clothes, which we all know. Some of us heard the story. I ain't saying the word, but they needed clothes. All right? But he clothed them, and it doesn't say if it was a lamb or not, but we're going to say lamb because it's important to the rest of the story. And if you look at the rest of the Bible, it uses the lamb a lot in regards to covering us and the blood covering us. All right, so they were covered. The lamb was we're going to say a lamb was killed. We just know an animal was killed, and God covered them. But He gave a promise in the process of things too. He said, and I'm going to read it because this is my favorite, one of my favorite verses. It's a little cryptic in the sense that it's like Max reminded me. It's almost spy-like in the sense of being secretly coded. But when we learn later what it means it's all more powerful. And it says this: I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush her head, and you will strike her heel. That was a promise of Jesus. The enemy was going to cause some trouble, but ultimately, Jesus would defeat the enemy who had tricked Adam and Eve. Now, we're going to fast forward a little bit. Thank you guys. Go ahead and have a seat. Go ahead, you're square. As we learned about David and Goliath, we learned about Daniel, we learned about Joshua. We learned the promises that God gave His people for that in the meantime between the promise given and the victory told and the victory actually happening. Sometimes it takes a little time, and we have to follow God's word, and we have it as a promise in the process of seeing the victory with our eyes. Now, I need a couple more volunteers. I need a boy and a girl again. Ben, and Paris, Knox, and Mr. Brian, wherever he's at. Okay, come on, Ben. And come on, Paris. Guys are right here. I'm going to put, all right, Ben, I want you here in the middle. Paris, I'm Paris, and Knox over here. Like sometimes we can get frustrated. The word's given, God gives you a word, and the promise of victory is coming. But it isn't there yet, but we have a process happening. God has told you have the victory. He shows His promise through His word. In Isaiah, He promised Emmanuel, God with us. All right, Jesus started out, scoot over here, as a baby. Pretend you have a baby in your hands. Oochie, go. All right? He had parents. He was small. He didn't come with trumpets. He came with some angels singing to some shepherds in the middle of nowhere. So sometimes a promise that first is given, the beginnings of that victory are small. You're not seeing much of it. It happens in a small place. It doesn't mean it's any less powerful. Okay? And the fact that Jesus came as a baby makes it to where we know that He gets us. He is our high priest that advocates for us, that loves us and understands us. Because not only was He a baby, but He was a kid. He grew up. We hear about him when he's 12. How he sought God's word. Our kids can seek God's word. Think about it. He was the Son of God. He was divine as a child and as he was man and human, God and human, the same thing. Even as a kid, sought God's word. We need to teach our children that. Thank you. Go ahead. Go back to your square. Huh? You were Joseph. Oh, my spy's back. It's not Daniel, I already told you. Yes, there was a spy, but you're not Judas today. Okay, so as we move on in our story, as we hold to the promises God has given us of victory, we get to a very special night. Jesus is no longer a baby. Jesus is no longer a 12-year-old. Jesus is a man now. He has been preaching. He has been gathering followers and the disciples. And He's gathered them. It's been 3 years and He's gathered them in the upper room. And He goes to sit down. No, not praying. He goes to sit down. Pull the chair back.